Greetings and salutations, fans of Dota 2. It is I, Badger, back for some more League of Legends Season 8 action. I am joined tonight by the last grand finals of last season, carry player extraordinaire Sonnegod. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm happy that you didn't mention my MMR because I was gonna have to fact check you real hard if you were gonna say 7K. Because just say we're not remotely close to that anymore. But
Just bad, man.
you know, it is what it is.
We are, though, here for some what should be exciting action between the defending champions. No Teddy, kind of. They have replaced their man Teddy with a new offlaner. On the dire side, we have a new stack. Couple veterans, couple new players. The Menaces to Sobriety on the dire side, featuring your former teammate, fellow grand finalist Cello. So, should be a fun time.
Just to note, right off the bat, I see they gave Cello the captain position. So I know I did some content about this team not being super great, but this is already a step in the right direction. Cello's obviously a seasoned drafter. From personally playing with him, I think he thinks about the game in a way more encompassing fashion than most players do. And I think one of the nice things about having a player like him, where he's played, I think, almost every single role in the game, is he pretty much always has heroes in mind for picks he wants at specific positions. So it makes it easier for, kind of maybe the more reserved players who don't think about it as much, where he'll be able to throw kind of hero ideas at you if you're not necessarily sure yourself and just give you like the gut reaction, like, oh, okay, that's a good pick. No, that's a bad pick. So I'm a fan of them shifting to Cello for the draft. This is an interesting opening too. Faceless Void ES.
This is definitely different. I mean, obviously, we already have a very standard orthodox sort of opener in that Keeper of the Light, one of the top heroes of the meta, and then Dire saying, "Oh, maybe we have an idea to just beat this Coddle. We have Void, we have Earth Spirit."
I'm kind of surprised that they banned Clinks over the Coddle for sure. That hero is way too strong, either at a core role or a support role, where Clinks is definitely squishier and he doesn't farm as quickly, so you can kind of put a lot of pressure on him early, and he might struggle because of it. But it's still kind of early in the patch. I wouldn't say a lot of these recent tournaments by the pro players you can necessarily say that they're like either top strats, top pick, top ban ideas, because TI is only a little bit away. They probably don't want to reveal too much. But Vengeful Spirit been getting a lot of 3-play in the tournaments. I think this hero is really sick with the Ag Scepter too, so have to watch out for this hero. I think you can flex it as a 5 too. I've been playing it at a decent amount. It's not as strong as a 5 as she is as a 3, but you can still make it work.
Seems like both teams are going for very different approaches to the draft. We're Dire picking, heroes we think we can play well. I'm ready. It's like, all right, meta list, best hero, Coddle, pick it. Next best hero, Venge, pick it. Surprised they didn't grab a Sven, but I guess with the Omni ban, there's less incentive to grab, say, an Omni Sven combo.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a perfect way of saying it, because I think I'm assuming with the change from Teddy to 11-17, the KU team hasn't really shifted too far away from the 4 protect KU strat that they probably employed last season. But Coddle's obviously a really strong team fight hero. Venge is good against Faceless Void. They probably need a little bit of tank to shore it up, and they're gonna save the KU hero for last. So I'm sure they're not too worried about any of the heroes kind of sticking around like the Sven or something, because they can just counter it theoretically.
It's one of those things too, when you have a team where it's a very tenured team, you got a lads champion team, a League 4 champion team, a team that got 3rd place in last season before that, played together for basically as the core of players, it's just a 4 group of players for like a year now. They're fine with doing the exact same strategy, because at this point everybody knows exactly what this team's going to do. There's no question about how this no Teddy team will play the game on a macro level. It's 4K KU, and maybe League of Legends, aka Kobe, will do some stuff too, and then it's give the resources to KU. He'll have like 60% of the team's farm, but he'll probably win the game somehow.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm kind of surprised though, because I knew that at least the KU, or the team last season, they really prioritized getting their offlaner Teddy his pick earlier in the draft, because they really liked that kind of Sand King. I think it was Sand King. I know that this player
for sure.
Yeah, Sand King's the big one from at least the last patch, but I know that 11-17, I was looking him up today, plays a lot of Night Stalker as well, which is like, I think one of, if not the most broken hero in the patch, and I was kind of wondering why they didn't pick it up earlier, but I think the Venge pick is just too good against Faceless Void, like regardless of what position that might end up being.
You know, like, you know, we don't want to pick Coddle plus Night Stalker. A little bit of anti-synergy there, so we'll just pick the Coddle and hopefully they'll just ban Night Stalker.
Wait, is it anti-synergy?
I think so. I think Coddle has like some kind of interaction only a day.
Right. Wait a minute. No, I think they changed that because it used to be he only healed in day, but I think he heals in both now.
Did they change it again?
I'm looking.
They gotta stop changing Coddle. I just know Coddle's good.
No, you're right. It's only healed during the day, but I feel like that's a small kind of like non-synergy. I don't really know what the word would be for that, but it's not like picking like Phoenix and Darks or Night Stalker, you know, like it's not like kind of that dramatic of a difference. Gyro's a good hero. Love that hero.
That is interesting. If we're seeing now Faceless Void plus Gyro, how does Dire plan on laning this? Is this like a Gyro support? Is this a Gyro mid? How are they going to do this?
They can. The weird thing is with this Faceless Void and Gyro pick, they can flex either at the 1 or the 5 role. I'd say probably Gyro is maybe a little bit more meta or like standard when it comes to playing as a 5. But I was watching even ESL today, and the Faceless Void 5 got picked up, I think, by Team Undyne, and it looked really good. They paired it with a ranged carry, so Gyro in this case, or you know, maybe Gyro's going to be playing mid or something as like a magic damage build, but I think it's going to be really interesting. We're going to see like this last pick. That's the thing. This is a cello draft, right? We have 2 heroes. We don't know where they're going to go, and they still have last pick. So like they really don't even need to show their hand until they get to the last pick of the game. And at that point, like KU's or like the Shish's draft, Heck Teddy, whatever you want to call him at this point, is already going to be kind of pretty set in stone with how the lanes are going to look.
I know we have a draft in our hands, and I hate to interrupt, but I just want to bring something a little bit meta up. You saw the the positional rankings earlier today, right? It's
by the Bulljack stack.
Yeah, by Bulljack, Doss, Teddy, Guam, and Mike.
I might have taken a peek at it.
I just find it funny how much conversation is being created. Like, I literally think that content piece is simultaneously revived the Discord, yet created an unbelievable level of beef between players.
I think it's like, honestly, it's good for the league though, because I think I remember a long time ago, I think it was Toto Biscuit, who, rest in peace, was one of like the guys that got me into esports in general. He had a very big critique of like the StarCraft 2 scene where everyone was too nice to each other, you know? And he comes from like a fan base that enjoys like the WWE stuff. Like I really enjoy like kind of when you have these beefs, you have like these players that are like the heels of the league versus like the nice guys of the league and stuff like that. It creates for not only like more interesting series, but like better dynamics, I guess, because, you know, winning's winning at the end of the day. But I think I've said this before, like it's way more fun to beat someone that's like flaming you, you know?
It's one of those things, I want to be sure if that assessment of the StarCraft scene is correct. You've got people like, you know, E.G. Idra or Complexity Zone Gage Dubose that really, they can get a little bit spicy in the interviews. You know, it's not like people are real completely vanilla constantly. So
I mean, when he made that comment, it must have been like at least 8 years ago, if not more. So, you know, it could have changed. I really haven't watched much of StarCraft since his passing, unfortunately, but you know. Dota 2 league play is where it's at now, at least in my heart. What do you think of those rankings, by the way?
I thought most of them were good. I think there were a couple. I think there's one in particular, the ranking of the Beast of US East, that offends me a bit. But other than that, the rest of them, I mean, they're mostly fine. I mean, there's obviously mistakes, but
Jorik at rank 2 for offliners is okay. In your opinion?
I think there's some mistakes. I think there's a lot of mistakes, but other than the Beast being ranked as low as he is, it's whatever to me.
Yeah, I mean, Beast, like,
I'm so upset about that one.
It's been a week though, or like a little bit since he's been in the league though, right? So maybe like he's just getting kind of ranked lower because it's been a while and people don't necessarily have fond memories of him.
He's just so good at Dota, man.
Who's gonna have to show off then, you know?
Like I just need him to have like one of those vintage performances when I'm casting it, and I will fucking live for that. I will just take his energy and I will just yell into the microphone at like 120 decibels. I will break my microphone, but it's gonna be okay.
He better be listening then. He better be listening to this because he needs that inspiration if he's gonna prove all the haters wrong.
Yeah, I watch my stuff sometimes, so you never know. He might be in the chat right now. But regardless, back to the draft at hand. We got a Medusa,
Ooh,
likely for
Sand
the
King.
man KU. And speaking of Teddy-based heroes, it is Sand King for the Radiants, and then Diagram their offlane Underlord. So nothing too wild and crazy there, but yeah.
So this reminds me of the last game of Grand Finals of last season where I played Gyrocopter into the KU Medusa. And after getting beat pretty thoroughly in that last game, I asked KU in the DMs, I was like, hey, what do you think about the gyro performance? You think there's anything I could have done better? I'm always looking to improve. And KU responds, I have not won a single game as Gyrocopter versus Medusa. I think that is unwinnable. And I see Cello is not remembering history, and so he's doomed to repeat it by picking this Gyrocopter. I mean, he picked it first, so they counter with Medusa, but should have banned the hero. And to top it all off, you're playing against Sand King, a very annoying hero, and then you got the discount Sand King and Underlord on the other team. So both of these teams are looking to just protect their towers and let their carries AFK farm. And from historical records, we can see Medusa will be stronger than the Gyrocopter at the end of the day. We don't even need to see the last two picks.
I'm actually a little bit interested to see exactly what they do with this dire. I mean, we're assuming this is a Tricore, a Faceless Void Gyro Underlord. Is that their Tricore? How do they lane it? And if not, is it possibly some kind of weird off-meta Gyro support, or like a Faceless Void support, or what's the plan here for the Dire's draft?
I think they actually, with the one nice thing here, is that they did pick this Faceless Void early on. And I think Faceless Void is a much better carry matchup against Medusa because you can kind of itemize for that Diffusal Blade. And Chrono's like a really good AoE lockdown, especially against carries that you might generally be worse against, because it allows you to either work on killing the entirety of the team around the carry. So like the KU stack, like you just kill everybody except for Medusa, and then you hope to just be able to 5v1 her, which might not be possible at the end of the day, but it is what it. Oh, well, I mean, my whole theory of crafting is out the window because Cello is definitely their 5 and playing Faceless Void. So
I'm so fascinated with this draft by the Dire right now. I am so genuinely fascinated with this draft right now. I just want you to know that.
They picked Tinker last. Isn't Bray? I mean, like, I'm imagining Bray is like some ultra good Tinker, because I don't think this is necessarily a good Tinker game.
This is definitely not an easy Tinker game. I agree with you on that one. I mean, this is potentially a very difficult Tinker game.
Yeah, Lena's like a really good matchup against it too. I can't, because you just get the cast, or like the attack range is just way too big. But this is interesting. I think Sand King Coddle lane is actually going to destroy bottom, unless like they get a really good early start. Because I can imagine the Faceless Void Gyrocopter level 1 is way stronger. And I think generally you go Time Walk on a level 1 position 5 Faceless Void just because you can trade a little bit better. So I think level 1, level 2, like they have the opportunity to dumpster this lane, but I'm really not sure it's going to end well for them. And then on the other side, like Vengeful Spirit Medusa is like high damage lane, and they have stuns and slows to be able to take out their opponent. And Underlord might not die that much, but the Earth Spirit I can imagine might get into some trouble if he plays too aggressively in the lane.
I like Radiant's drafts. I'll put it succinctly. I like Radiant's draft.
I do like I like the Grand Champions drafts from last season. They stuck with their guns on this one. Sand King Medusa, adding in some spicy Coddle and Vengeful Spirit. Oh my god, Coddle can give... What is it? Coddle gives Medusa like 700 effective health every time he Chakra Magics her.
And it's not only that, you actually reduce the cooldown on, I think, both the snake and the passive from the Magnum Shard. So you're actually adding even more effective HP by doing that. So it's just an absurd amount of survivability there inside of just, hey, my buddy KU, you know, I like to give you farmer stacking, but you know what? I'm just going to reduce cooldown everything.
This is going to be... They just like took a staple draft of theirs last season and made it emphatically better. And just... Yeah, you're right. Like I think Radiant's got this one, but you know, like this is the first time I think we're seeing this Cello stack. So like maybe they can show some mettle against the finalists, or the grand champions even of last season.
If you are just joining us, welcome. 2-2 game series between No Teddy, the grand champions, on the Radiants. And we've the Menaces Sobriety, a new team on the Dire. My name's Badger, I'm joined by the one and only Sonnegod, and hopefully we're in for some competitive Dota 2, something wild and crazy perhaps. We certainly have some wild and crazy heroes, a little bit of off-meta stuff here, especially on the Dire side, so hopefully we can get something at least entertaining to cast.
Yeah, I mean, the one nice thing about the start of the season, right, is everyone gets to make all their content pieces. We get to talk about who's like garbage, who's going to be the best. And then with the start of the season, we get to, like, I think, see immediately whether those initial thoughts are going to be fruitful or if they're just kind of a load of bull. And most of the players I know that generally aren't favored so highly might be trying a little bit harder to kind of show that they got some stuff in the tank.
Slendy just had a pretty good body block to quite literally zero effect, but I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
It did literally nothing, but I liked it. We're seeing her roll bottom lane looking for the Venge, but Slendy will miss a bit to the right there on that one. So it's a little bit of damage going. I guess mostly actually out of Slendy's favor. Took a lot of right clicks in the double range lane. That's actually a bit of a concern. As you mentioned it in the draft, this lane situation in the bottom lane, it's double range, double melee, which may be a bit hard here for that double melee, as you mentioned.
If they play this lane right, it's like the best you're going to get from a double melee versus double range lineup. ES generally likes to rotate out of the lane, and Underlord doesn't mind being a solo hero in a lane. And with his Atrophy Aura as a passive, he generally should be fine as long as he like kind of respects the ability for the Vengeful Spirit Wave of Terror to do a lot of damage to him outside of just like normal spell usage. Surprises the mid lane's going as well as it is, to be honest.
And so far, Bray has done well, going 4-4 CS-wise, which is, pretty good. Seeing a bit of an attempt on Cello top lane. The burrow was there, but Cello simply walking on the way towards his 2-1 tower. A-okay.
The one thing I found, I played this Void or Faceless Void position 5 once, is that it feels really good when you have your ulti, but outside of that, your heroes feels extremely useless after like 10 minutes in the game because you just don't farm fast. Like most position 1s on Faceless Void generally want to go a Maelstrom, right? And if you're position 5, you're definitely not getting that item.
Yeah, that seems pretty accurate.
You might die though.
Yeah, they certainly are trying. They're running on forward. The Illumina is there. It damaged Cello time walked in and gets the kill there at 11-17. He wants Malefic as well. He does not have Mash skilled. Does not need it, but will not get the kill. Good play there by Dire in the top lane, though. Bloom and Cello combined together to get the first blood there on that 11-17 Sand King.
That's like a really sick play.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, KTA may be in damage. He's running away to the right towards a little old side chop area, taking a lot of damage, but he's just tanky enough, it appears, or perhaps not. He's one more hit from Slendy, perhaps, and indeed, 2 kills now for the Dire. Killer for Slendy. They even roll in upwards towards KU, but KU runs back towards the middle of the lane, and he will be A-okay being, well, a Medusa.
I saw he held his point there on instead of opting just to go for the mana shield right when he hit level 2. I wonder if I have to imagine a player of KU's caliber is like very about min-maxing, so if he doesn't feel like he's getting harassed that much, he'd be going to split shot a little bit earlier. But that was a solid kill from him. I think that just shouldn't be happening in this lane, but maybe this off lane is way more aware of what this lane looks like, I think, than the Sheesh stack is. I know Underlord isn't generally a staple meta hero at the moment.
So KTA just got a little bit too aggressive. Like you saw him go in there, and all this simply a roll from the side, and it's a good 2v opportunity there. 2 melee heroes both in melee range to hit the Venge there.
Yeah. One of the mid lane too.
Actually, not a kill quite yet. That's a lot of damage there in the middle lane. Both mid laners are very, very low, and both still want to fight. It appears.
And this new Tinker hero is something. You just go the battle build. You don't even care about farming anymore. You just do so much damage.
Seeing top lane, this time dilation is being a bit of a bother for Malefic. Seeing now Hungus goes well onto the Coddle, but Cello must now run away. He was burrowed by 11-17. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Dire are getting real frisky. Magic Missile is there onto the Underlord, nearly under the tier 1 tower bottom, but Fourth Yorlingus will simply walk on away on that Underlord away from the danger once again.
I like that you pronounce his name correctly too. It's a breath of relief from all of these wannabe Lord of the Rings fans that don't actually know how to pronounce anything.
Speaking of things happening, it's top lane. Shaking is a bit of severe danger right now, being run at by 2. Chell gets the kill there. Now he time walks to the left, looking for a Malefic. Malefic is juking in the trees. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Magic Missile is there onto Slandy. Earth Spirit is being run at. They are hitting both range Josie. One more hit. Can they get it? No, they cannot. Ooh. Now they turn to the Underlord. Firestorm is on the ground. Is he tanky enough? Snake is there. Hits on Underlord. Underlord goes down. And now Slendy has to the Wave of Terror as well from Keita. Double kill there for Revenge. The man playing with 200 ping gets 2 kills.
That was sick. That was like a really close play by both teams to making that like really good. But I think Underlord misses Firestorm on the Venge, so she was able to get off her spells before they had the opportunity to go for the kill. So worked out really well for the Sheesh stack.
This Faceless Void thing is extraordinarily obnoxious. Right now, Cello is running at Malefic once again. He's, I believe, one more hit with a bash, but, well, no kill quite yet. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they roll on in for KU. Medusa will go down, and Magic Missile will come out in return, but that certainly will not be vengeance there. Now 4 kills to 2 in favor of the side of the Dire currently.
This offlane's looking really strong. I thought they would have gotten dumpstered in this lane, but both players are playing their heroes like as aggressively as you can for having an Underlord in the lane.
Cello just absolutely outplaying the Radiant side dual lane. Gets a 1v2 kill there on Malefic, canceled the salve and then killed the Coddle, played in the trees, and simply eviscerated that. Man, that is beautiful there from Cello Mello.
I can tell you there's no one happier on Dire right now than Bloom, because he doesn't have to worry about this Coddle hero just blasting at his face every 5 seconds.
Now bottom lane, they will attempt to kill Underlord. The bit is there on 2, but Radiant once again are running forward. But the Underlord with those boots and the bracer will be a little bit too much. Now we're seeing a rendezvous from the left side. It's Tinker and Earth Spirit arriving. Slendy rolls on into Keita. Venge made us be in danger. Tinker refreshes, and Will got the kill there on Venge with the homing missiles. Sorry, heat-seeking missiles, I should say. And that's now 6 kills for the Dire.
Heat-seeking and homing is basically the same, Badger. Don't be too hard on yourself.
See, it is. The problem is, if you're looking for a Gyro, he has the homing missile ability. So
oh, God, you're right.
I can't actually mess it up either, because they're both in the game, so...
That's unfortunate.
The problem, like, usually you call, like, Gyro rockets, and you call Tinker rockets, but neither are rockets. They're both missiles. And there's actually a rocket ability on Gyro this game. Get me out.
Oh, my goodness. This is a caster's nightmare, you know?
A little bit, yeah.
This is going to go on the highlight reel for sure.
You'd be surprised what I could turn a situation into. Bottom lane, though, it's a roll in from Slendy. Now KU's kicked under that Dire tier 1 tower. He's on the run, taking a bit of the Fire Sword damage. We see Bray and Tinker TPing, but in comes Keita, in comes Malefic. They're looking for some damage on Slendy, perhaps. Laser, missiles are fired. Keita is low. Roll in from Slendy, but he's very low. Meanwhile, top lane, Bloom and Cello kill Sand back to bottom. Slendy goes down. Keita goes down to those heat-seeking missiles of Tinker. Across the map, it's a 2-for-1 in favor of the Dire.
Dude, this Sand King's getting absolutely bodied in this lane.
Yes.
It's terrifying for them, actually. Because he's going to be their tower defender, and if he's too weak to defend towers solo, like, the space on the map is going to get a lot smaller. There's not going to be as many heroes able to kind of greed off of the Sand King's ability to keep, like, a couple heroes at bay.
It's one of those things fundamentally we have to ask ourselves, is Dire up to task to basically beat this team at their best style of Dota, where it's 4PKU, where he hits a timing window on this Medusa, but what if they win the game before the Medusa is online? It's a hard ask, but if they can do it, it'll be marvelous.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how the Gyro itemizes for this, because if he all ins on like the early kind of mindset, like you were pointing out, like they definitely have an opportunity to. I don't think that's like part of the Gyro skill build anymore, though.
Top lane, no, they will finally punish Shelamello. It was the burrow into the Magic Missile under that Dire side hard camp. They TP in Bray to fight, but well, it's too late. Their Faceless Void is dead, and so is their Sentry Ward.
I would like to get your opinion on like split games early in the season. Like, what happens if this team does 1-1 with each other? Is that like a big indicator of things to come, you think, or is it just they could have gotten lucky. This Sheesh, even though they're a genuinely like a tenured stack, like they still have a new player. It's never going to be clean.
It depends. I mean, really, we're seeing KU being going on right now, but he's Medusa should be completely fine. We're seeing a TP in from Kobe on that Lena, actually. Yeah, they're fine. It's one of those things, it depends how they lose. I think if it's a close loss where it's like, alright, Dire executed their draft, it's fine. If they get rolled, it's a bit of an issue, but they're not getting rolled right now. It's relatively even. Saw a two-man smoke from the Radiant running into the Dire side jungle, but now it's a two-man corner from Cello into the call down of Gyro. Brave Bait, TP's in come the Rockets, in come the Laser perhaps. Rolls comes on in, League of Legends, he goes down, and so does Keita. It's 2 kills for the Dire, and Cello, Colonels both go down now in the grave.
I was gonna say they canceled the TP on the Lena and the Vengeful Spirit bottom when they realized that KU wasn't really gonna get harassed anymore, and I would have liked Dire to just rotate bottom immediately and kind of force them to get that tower for free, because it's gonna be at the very least a 3v5 advantage for them if they do decide to bring heroes bottom. But I'm assuming getting the kill on their mid and their 5 top with just a position 5 spell is pretty good too.
Going back to the whole like 1-1 versus 2-0 thing early on, I thought no-ban players, the Ultra Gunner and Filsky team was probably on a 2-0 yesterday. They won 1. Once again, I don't think it's really a big deal. They won. It's, once again, first week of the season. It's more, do you keep 1-1-ing? Because if they're, say, like 6-4 after 10, that's a bit more concerning than 1-1 after 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the thing. I think 1-1s are good for...
Paddleside.
Yeah.
Though Radiant actually are arriving, they want some counter kills. Underlord is low, but the pit actually prevents League of Legends from getting in range of a Laguna plane, actually.
Nice.
He's out running in, Slendy has the roll there from the top of the fight. Now missiles, lasers come on in, Keita swaps, kick is there from Slendy. LSA comes in onto 1, Slendy is low. Fortulingus is low, Slendy goes down, Keita goes down. 1117 has arrived, has level 2, Burrow looking for Bray Bray. And indeed, will hit it, has Epi, uses Epi, but in comes Cello. Laguna is using Bray Bray, tries to run away but ends up dying. Cello arrives, runs on down, but well, Sand King is pretty tanky still. He tries to patch the Sand King, but that one is just not working. Simply a little bit too tanky on that one.
That looked really good for Dire. They had a really good idea of when they wanted to decommit from that fight, but Tinker just not having boots obviously gimps him really hard against any hero with boots, especially one like a Sand King with the epicenter, so he just dies to him.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower
Looping back finally to the end of that conversation, I think 1-1s generally are good for the teams that are not favored to do so well, because it gives them that little boost early on in the season, like, hey, we actually can win games, and especially if it's against a good team. But for the better teams, they're not going to care as much. They know what it is when it comes to it.
It's funny, it took us like 3 seconds to get the conversation done, maybe 4 actually, just like slowly get out a little bit of time between the team fights. That was fun.
Yeah, it's good filler talk, right?
It's still on the mind. Like, we don't need to analyze the team fights. We have a more pressing topic on the mind. Bottom lane, though, 1117 may be in danger. Dilation is there, into the pit, into the roll from Slendy. 1117's running to the left towards his Coddle. Now in comes Lena, TPing to the tier 1. Burrow is there, Slendy goes down, and now Shadow's on the run as well. Has Time Walk available, and also has Chrono. Keita looks for something. Cello, Time Walks, missiles come in from the Tinker. And suddenly the fight is over. The missiles will continue to fly, but nobody should die. Simply a little bit of a delay between the next fight, perhaps. Unless Keita can get swapped from the right side in the trees here. He'll swap now onto the Underworld after a missile, perhaps. Perhaps not, actually. Lumina is there. Now the laser onto Sand King. Sand King is low. He burrows to the right. That's now swapped by Keita. In comes Challenge. The Chrono there on 2. Sand King is low, is in danger. In come Rockets. Down goes 1117. Down goes Keita. And Dire, they see Malefic. They want more, but that one's a little bit harder. They actually do see things with missiles, but, well, Radiant are a little bit too fast, but that tier 1, still a good target.
Cello unknowingly dodging the Lena stun with his Time Walk was very cool to watch. One thing to note, they still don't have that tier 1 tower, and KU is still AFK farming, so the strategy is in full effect.
It is a little bit concerning, though, that On the flip side, the other T1 is still alive. Ideally, KU want this tower dead, so we can simply play this sort of oval. Bottom lane, though, I have missed the action there. Cottle will go down, it's a hard dodge by the Dire. Now in comes Lina, TP's on in, down goes the Underlord. Epicenter is you, Cello Isla, LSA hits, down goes the Void, this is Void. Now they look for the Earth Spirit, who was stunned by Magic Missile and will go down. Overall, at 3 for 1 in favor of the Radiant, they heavily punish the Dire side dive.
Yeah, I think to your point, one of the things that both of these teams drafted for is being able to defend their towers, whereas they don't really have good tower pressure. I guess Lina's not terrible, but you don't think of any of these heroes and just saying, okay, they're gonna rotate to this off lane, take the tier 1 at what 10 to 12 minutes in the game. Instead, we're seeing like these sweeping rotations that are normally like being met with almost utter failure, just due to the other team's ability to hold their towers, and mainly this Underlord and Sand King.
It is always a good thing to get that of your offlaners, be a really tanky strength hero, chuck down some uncontrollable damage, and just don't die. I mean, combined right now, the two actually have died a little bit this game, 6 combined deaths, but despite the deaths, they're still tanky.
That's the thing about Sand King and Underlord, right? Like, their ability to defend towers is not impacted by deaths.
This is interesting. Sand King went on in, but well, he did not know 3 Dire heroes were there. 3 collapsed on in, and Sand King simply went down there. Was I believe a blink reveal by 11-17, and that one did not pay off. He ends up dying, and now the T1 tower bottom on the Radiant side is forfeits.
Did he get to use his blink, or...?
Yeah, he did. He blinked in on the Underlord, and it didn't go well.
Oh, God. Interesting.
I was watching that whole thing, I was like, huh, that just happens.
Yeah. Maybe he thought he had, like, the scare factor, just, like, showing up with the blink, they would have forced him back, but... The other team having numbers.
They're keeping pressure on. They're smoking S4 headed left through the Radiant side jungle. They pop it, though, on Kada. Not a good target. Chrono is up. Is it now used? But no, Laguna down goes Cello immediately. Sunday rolls on in from the top of the fight. The well swap is there. Onto Lina, keeping her alive for now. Dire once again want to come on in. They're doing some flat cannon damage. They will kill Kada, but they want more. Yules is there. On to League of Legends from himself, actually. But now in comes Sand King. Has Epi, has Blink, has Burrow. It's there on to Selenium, left side of the fight near the T12 tower. Sunday goes down. Lina still is low, but still is alive. Now Radiant look for Bray. They see him. The Burrow is there. He's on the high ground. Missile's there from Venge. Now Tinker is on the run. Illumina is there. Down goes Bray. It's 3 kills for the Radiant. They have to buy back the Venge. Now Underlord tries to get with the Dark Rift. Will get away. And she cancels it. Interesting. The Burrow is there. He's under that solar bind. That will certainly kill him. Now 4 kills for the side of no Teddy.
I get what he was going for, because he was like, hey, I can stay out on the map, and they look like they're leaving. Then they're like, wait a second, he's not leaving. They all turned around and just start beating on him.
I'm calling that one ambitious.
Yeah.
We'll call it ambitious at best. That's what we'll call it.
That's like one of those plays, I don't know how much competitive this guy has played, but I feel like in pubs, you're way more likely to get away with that than you are in like a competitive setting. Just due to the nature of people not being coordinated. Everyone leaves. They're not expecting that someone stays to make sure that they finish off the kill.
And if it is, I mean, I think he's like a 6 point whatever K, like 6.5K offlane player. It's obviously pretty good at the pub level, but you're now playing into one of the most seasoned competitive units here in LANs. And now bottom lane, his Bray is being gone on, but it's only a lone Sand King. So Bray simply rearms, blinks away, and well, will be A-okay. No danger on that one. Actually, Sand King is pursuing as for once again a blink away by Bray. That is breaking the ankles of 11-17.
What an annoying hero, dude.
Absolutely.
You can get stunned and you still just rearm blink away and everything's fine.
If there's one word to assess Tinker, annoying is definitely the one. That's no doubt about it.
I'd say to a certain extent though, I'd rather play against Tinker than a Puck. Puck's
disagree on that one. I disagree heavily.
Oh way.
Middle lane, though, we're seeing a roll on in onto the Radiant side jungle, looking for Malefic. The Coddle was hit by the roll, and now in come missiles. In comes Cello. The Chrono perhaps swap is there at the Coddle. The Coddle got out anyways. Cadis trying to fight, goes down as well. So there's 2 kills for the Dire, and they're pursuing left through the Radiant side jungle. They want to get more, though. The cores will get away, so Radiants lose 2, albeit it is both supports.
Man, every time I look at these fights, I just go check on what KU's doing, and you know, he's still clicking some creeps.
Yeah.
That's why they're still probably ahead at this point, even though that they're behind in the kill score.
It's mission accomplished. It's, hey, KU, hit creeps, carry us, please. And lo and behold, he's hitting creeps. step 1 down, and well, it's 1 step to go, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really think that Dire is making the correct plays, but in any lineup where you're the opponent carry just like inherently outscales you, you need to like close their map quickly. So they're taking these fights, I'd say like decently well for the most part. You know, a couple miscues for sure, but they're not closing the map. So they're not like making KU pressure define farm, and that's really gonna hurt in like 5 minutes because I'm assuming he's gonna be getting a Scotty like 22, 23 minutes, and at that point, like Medusa's ready to go, so she's not gonna be as afraid to farm as she once was.
Might even be slightly earlier than that, perhaps, if KU simply farms unimpeded. Sundy's rolling on in, but while Sundy is relatively alone, he'll kick a boulder onto KU. Bray looked to TP on him, but that's not going to work.
Cavalry is coming.
And now it's Sundy who is in severe danger, but he rolls away to the right in time, back deeper into the Dire side jungle. And Dire actually are set up. Cello comes on in with the time lock onto Malefic. Malefic on the Coddle will go down to the combination of Bloom and Cello. Now it's once again a roll in from Slendy on to 11-17. They're running away towards the Radiant T1 tower area. Slendy should go down now. Once again, Dragon Slave will kill that hero. And now Dire, perhaps, they are down 1, but they want to get more. The Yules is there onto Cello, but the LSA misses. Bloom runs on in. The Radiants certainly want to fight. Epi was pump faked, cancelled. And now pump faked again, cancelled again. And it's over.
Dude, KO gets gone on by a position 4 with no other heroes in sight, and you see every single one on Radiant TPing to go assist them. Now that's every carry's wet dream right there.
I mean,
oh my goodness.
It's deserved. I mean, KU is a really good player, and they're like, you know, we'll put our faith in this man. We're going to TP in 4 immediately. Within, I think, like half a second, there were 4 TPs.
Yeah. That's like one of those plays too where I'm 90% sure that KU is not screaming at his team to TP to him. He probably just like makes them call like they're going on me, and everyone's like,
bottom lane, Bray is in danger. Was caught by a Tinker Ward in the jungle. I think it was actually placed by the Lina. Regardless, though, it is indeed a death there on Bray. Tried to blink away in the trees to be a Tinker, and well, Yules, LSA, spells, backup teammates, dead Tinker. Mission accomplished.
Man. I think Radiant's starting to find their footing in this match.
They will get at least some kind of vengeance kill on the Coddle. I mean, they smoked S4 down to the Radiant side jungle, but well, it's only a Coddle. They wanted a bit more than that. They're into perhaps to look for the Sand King, but he TPs away in time, so it's only a Coddle for their Tinker, which is not a good trade in the slightest.
It's like such like a classic Sheesh lineup where they're 3 through 5 are like combined 100% of the deaths on their team. And then KU's just like, don't worry, boys. You just keep feeding a little bit longer, you know?
I mean, yeah, I know we keep saying it, but it just keeps ringing true, and it's just so omnipresent where it's like you ever get into a situation in the winter where you're driving on an icy road and you start losing control of your car. It's like that. You know what's coming. You can't brake. If you brake, your car will start spinning.
Yeah.
But you can't stop it. You just gotta hope nothing goes wrong. And well, we're quickly careening towards the snowbank. The car may end up launched into that the way we're going.
That was like a really detailed answer. I was like even more thinking about like PTSD from just experiencing this a mere month ago. Just being like, oh god, they're doing it again. The like classic Jesse Pinkman, he can't keep getting away with this meme.
They're about to get away with it one more time. We're seeing a smoke though by the Radiant. They pop it though on an Invis Cello Mellow, but the problem is they have sentries and they have stuns. They finally face this Void, and well, Cello will be the lone death in this team, luckily, but once again, it's a rough time there for the Dire. And the game slowly, ever so slowly, tilts in the favor of no Teddy.
Slowly but surely, they're reclaiming the parts of the map. They're going to start pushing it out and then start pressuring the Dire team so that they're not going to be able to farm as well, which is occurring right now.
Dire are trying so hard to play a step ahead, but the problem is they're a step behind instead. They're playing 2 bottom, expecting Radiant to go onto the Tinker, but instead, it's Radiant going onto the Underlord in the Dire side jungle. He's caught there by 5. Laguna, Illuminate, RU's down goes 4th Lingus, and well, they had the right idea. They knew no Teddy were doing something. Problem is, it was in the literal opposite quadrant of the map.
Like, kind of surprised the Sand King player has like little to no regard to the usage of his ulti, it seems, but I think Maybe it's correct in like, for example, to think that Underlord just killing him with your ulti is like enough value rather than holding it, but it just seems like he never has it on cooldown for when they want to use it. Oh,
Thank you,
tactical.
Thank you, Chelamel. Oh, we have a disconnection from Bravery on Tinker. Certainly, hero you don't want to have any kind of ping or hardware issues on. That's for damn sure.
He had a 12-minute blink dagger and has since then farmed what, like 4k gold in 10 minutes. That's not super great.
Something like that. Not too much. Obviously, it's one of those things where there was a time where Tinker was, number 3 net worth, number 2 net worth, feeling pretty good, and now he's number 4 and falling rapidly, and it's partially thanks to the changes to Tinker, where now it's like, alright, you have this built-in boots of travel ability now, but you don't have much of the machines anymore, so it's hard to farm the way you used to. This is a consequence of simply the rework of Tinker.
That is the one thing I don't get. Since it's a shard now, people just don't seem to be getting it.
A good pick off there for the Radiant. They find Bray farming the Radiant side jungle, and well, Bray is now dead in the Radiant side jungle.
What's going on, man?
I guess they had time to see him on that obs, like, hey, we can just kill Tinker. He's farming right here, deep in our territory.
Is that one of those situations they pause and he's just on the ward and they see him? I can't even go back, man.
Yeah, it was 100% on the ward at that point.
It
was a dire pause too. It was a dire side pause.
That same thing happened to me against this stack. Cello, stop.
We see bottom lane. They attempted some kind of attempt on 11-17, but they missed some abilities and they didn't commit heavily. And well, 11-17 simply will walk on away from whatever that attempt was bottom lane.
Man, this is a rough game. I don't know. I understand the general concept that the Dara is going for was really good, I think. This is one of the situations though where I think that they just might not be like comfortable with enough with each other to kind of like follow through on like kind of what their game plan was. They died a couple times where they made, I think, the right play, but it just like kind of didn't work out for them for a myriad of reasons, and they were like, all right, we just need to farm a little bit more, where the other team just has a Medusa that's uncontested, just getting the right click creeps, and all of a sudden like the game's like really out of their favor.
It's one of those things where, I know I'd love to say this, I just love to say this phrase, but Dota's just a game of inches, where there's a lot of little plays this game where they barely went in the Radiant's favor. Like, I wanted to harp on is that fight bottom lane where Kata barely survived, KU barely survived, and the Underlord and the Earth Spirit barely died at minute 4 or so. If that ended up being, say, an easy kill there on the Venge for the Dire, and maybe possibly forcing Medusa back in the lane away for like a wave and a half of CS, that's a huge game there, but these little things, they just snowball, where it's these little advantages turn into bigger advantages, and a team like No Teddy will turn a little advantage into, well, the current game state, where it's not over yet, but it's a winning game position, and it's getting better the longer the game goes on.
Yeah, they just like are really comfortable in this strategy, and it does feel kind of like one of those things where this team has complete confidence in not only how they play, but in how like each other plays. So they're just like more than willing to throw lives away to like kind of go the extra inch, if you will, to make sure that they're kind of like reaching that style of play that they like basically have perfected almost, I'd say, for this league at least. I do want to say, just while we're paused, I can get a little bit of some of my anger and grief out. I don't like the max statting on Gyrocopter. I think you get 2 points in it while you're getting up to your Ags, and then you go back and get all the points in Rocket Barrage.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Okay, so Gyrocopter likes to farm. You kind of, it makes like perfect sense why you go this max flak into Ags, right? Like you just farm insanely fast. Stacks are really cool. You get a lot of creeps. You get a lot of gold, etc., etc. But you're 13 minutes into the game, you're a Gyrocopter, you have treads, you have a magic wand, and if you're lucky enough at 13 minutes, you have an Ags. And then what happens? when you have those abilities? Literally nothing, because you have 4 points in your fucking excuse me, you have 4 points in your
Oh no, how
stats.
dare you swear on my amateur Dota stream. You're never getting invited back, Sonnegod.
Hey, we have to keep consistency on this channel, Badger. Not gonna let you go pro just because someone's throwing some swears. It's about content and quality. But yeah, this gyrocopter, you get this Ags ability, and it almost feels like you're setting yourself up to just want to farm more by maxing out the attributes. And that's great and dandy, like when you're winning the game convincingly and you don't have to show up to team fights to really kind of contribute at all. But let's say you are in a position like Gyro versus Medusa where you don't inherently scale better than the Medusa. You're going to have to start making some plays with your team, and you're not making plays with your teams with what, 5 extra damage, or no, sorry, excuse me, 10 extra damage on your flat cannon. It's going to be with like a literal 50% increase on Rocket Barrage, which deals like, you know, it's basically spin level worthy from Juggernaut at level 4. You can just run heroes down, and generally with Ags, Power Treads, and a Magic Wand, like you're really tanky as it is. You don't really have to worry that much about just getting blown up instantly, especially if you're playing with your team.
It's interesting how the pendulum swings in that sense. Where now it's like, all right, get abilities. Mid lane though, we saw KU with the Aegis now was hitting that middle tier 1 tower. Correction, middle tier 2 tower, trying to do some damage. But well, Dire have completely decided to group middle lane. They have currently 5 heroes in this little. Okay, one of them's left. They have 4 heroes in this little box here, and well, Radiant say, you know, usually a lot of teams will split push here, but Radiant want to go. They have the Aegis, they know they're strong. Dusa is hitting the rest of Smoke around him. And Dire appear to have some idea, that's why they're still grouped here as 4, but well, the tower, it's just forfeit.
You know, I'm watching the Coddle give Chakra Magic to Medusa, and just, it doesn't even look like that much is happening, but like internally, like I'm just screaming because I know that it's so impactful just to how much health she ends up having. Just to see the mana bar like move slightly to the right, it's just like, how does this hero do so much with so little?
Smooth ever so slightly, and your spirits go down instantly. Like, oh no, KU's unkillable. Yeah. Not again.
I think the one nice thing about this Dire lineup is they do have a lot of AoE damage that you can just kind of throw on the ground, and the Medusa hero feels really good against like big bursty spells, but not so great against kind of like dots. Just because I think even though it's, you know, it's not as much damage, it just doesn't really make its mark known on your hero until kind of it's not too late, but until it kind of has already started impacting it pretty heavily. But they're just gonna take every
fight break out top lane, it appears. Sand King has arrived, was kicked away by Slendy. Epi was casted and cancelled. We're seeing Underlord is dark drifting away from any kind of melee, and well, the fight has ended, though across the map it's good for the Radiant. They grabbed 2 towers and defended their own tier 1 top lane.
It's like would have been a perfect opportunity for them to just like run at this Dusa and try and at least kill her once, if not kill her twice, but
they know she's there. They're drawing a circle. They know she's there. It's just still one step ahead.
It's like kind of that's the thing. The one problem with Dota at this tier is that most players, I think, generally know how to play Dota, and like they recognize good plays when they see them. But it's just like I don't even know like a valid time scale. It's just like a slower. The identification of the correct play is slower, and then it's even slower to communicate that with other players who might not even be on the same page as you are. So like, yeah, they like recognize he's alone at that tier or at the easy camp right there, but that's already been 20 seconds after the rest of his teammates TP. They're already shifting back towards the mid lane, so they're close enough to help him if he gets gone on. It's just like you said, it's a game of inches, and specifically, I guess for my example, it's a game of seconds as well. And the sad thing is that I think it's really hard to identify when you're being a little bit too slow during the game.
Some kind of dance is happening mid lane right now. It's 11-17 and Shello is playing around each other, but well, nobody actually gets jumped. In the very end, though, it's once again another tower that goes down. It was the Dire topside tier 2 that died, so once again, another simply dead tower.
Yeah, this is a classic. You get Aegis, and then you take all the outer towers, and then you just wait for the next Aegis to win the game.
Not sure how long Kobe's been in the trees here on the lane in the bottom lane, but while LSA is there on the 4th year old Lingus, he's also playing in the trees with that pipe now. In comes Slendy, but in comes 11-17. It's an Epi and a Burrow from the T2 Tower of the Radiant, and well, into the LSA, into a dead Slendy. The Dark Rift is used, but well, Slendy is once again in the grave, and sometimes you gotta die to make stuff happen, and well, if you have somebody die, it's probably gonna be Slendy.
I don't think that's play is terrible because it gives Gyro and Tinker some more space to farm. But they're gonna... It's just like one of those things, you're just like... It feels like they're just waiting for it to end. They're waiting for the suffering to stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to use another turn of phrase there, it's death by 1,000 cuts, and it's just a little bit... It's like, some teams will just beat you in a team fight and then they'll just roll you over. But this team, if you like try to run down a lane consistently with a lead, eventually you'll throw. This team doesn't throw. They're just like, all right, we're gonna ever so slowly advance, and we'll choke you like some kind of boa constrictor. Just start to choke around the neck, like, hey, this is a little more farm for us, and a little more farm, and a little more farm. Suddenly you're just in the base with 4 heroes doing nothing as your Tinker farms a dangerous spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the point you made. Like, this team, like, methodically makes their plays, and they just don't throw. And like, I think, like, just like such like a small thing to say, just like, yeah, you just don't throw. You play everything like super methodically. You choke out the map. You get a 30k net worth lead before you even think about winning the game. This team is really good at doing that.
Looks like Dire want to do something. They smoke his 4. They find Kata. They want the big kill. Chronosphere is there on League of Legends. Can they get another swap? Is there. Brings the bench into the Chrono. And well, Lina now BKB's away. Stone Gaze is popped. Kata goes down. Now KU, who's in the middle, Stone Gazing is hitting. BKB is there from Gyro, but BKB also is there from the Lina. Tinker now is low. Tinker goes down. Bloom is trying to fight there on the driver. Now in comes Slendy, rolling up the right side of the fight, perhaps looking at the Coddle, but even then Coddle's just still alive. Tinker buys back, looks to fight, but Bloom is so low. He's being run at by KU.
Oh
KU
my God.
kills the Gyro, and well, Dire are beginning to run out of resources. We're seeing Lina once again fighting. In comes the Epi, in comes the Burrow, they're on 2. And Dire, well, they once again die back on their Tinker. They're now rolling now. Underlord will go down. Now Slendy tries to roll on and trying to at least kill the Lina, but no, it just doesn't happen. Chilamel is a lone survivor, and yeah, it's now looking a little bit harder.
That was like such like an unfortunate series of events where Earth Spirit kicked the Venge away from the Chrono, and then that allowed Venge to get Lina out of the Chrono, and then it looked like every hit that Medusa was getting on Gyro at like max range uphill was just not missing. And you know, I know he has a Monkey King bar, but still, like, give the man a chance. And there's 2 farms. They just die. You know, clean execution from Sheesh. No Teddy, etc.
Step Bro, I'm stuck.
You know, we were used to this team doing it last season. It looks like they picked up where they left off.
Cello is incredibly dead.
Oh God.
So let's ignore that. Back to the base.
Cello trying to split push for the last time this game.
The split pushing has now ceased. It's 2 sets of racks.
They're not calling it, which, you know, maybe they got 1 left in the tank, but
if Colonel went forward, he may one more team fight. It is though the 2-man Burrow by the Dire side found at this point. Tillamola has bought back, so Dire are once again in support, but Tinker is just still dead. So roll in from Slendy onto a BK beat Sand King, who's now by the Dire tier 3 tower. He's running to the left still. Slendy once again rolls on him, but it's on to KU. Stone Gaze is there, and KU's trying to fight in the shadow of the Dire tier 3 tower. Slendy goes down. KU once again hits onto the Underlord, and Underlord made us be in damage. And he's fine. He's alive for now. And Bray has respawned, so once again, one last fight perhaps. They laser onto KU to buyback from Slendy. Once again, Dire for the last time, perhaps RS5. Cello time walks in, but in comes the Epi, the Burrow. Oh God, Dire taking so much damage. 3 kills for the Radiant, and Bloom is swapped in. He tries to Satanic and man fight. Alright, it's not even his Satanic, it's the Deuce's Satanic. Kata will go down, but well, the GG is called, and for no Teddy, that was a very methodical game win.
Tipping the new blood. Well done on your first series. I think this is first series for No Teddy, right? In the league?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so good work on him. He picked up where Teddy left off, picking Sand King and doing well with it. What was I gonna say? KU's item choice for the MKB, albeit a small one, just, you know, played against Tinker. It's like, especially the new Tinker that just wants to spam Q and W at you. Like, that was a sick item. I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm like, why does he have this MKB instead of a Daedalus? And all of a sudden, I'm just watching Bray just like continuously like queuing him, and I'm like, oh, makes perfect sense actually. This guy's pretty good at the Dota 2 game.
I thought for a second, like, oh, he's buying the MKB to prep for the potential butterfly on Gyro. But
yeah, same.
There's another source of mischance. Like, oh, this laser ability because 100% mischance.
Yeah.
I guess 100% blind, I should say, but still. KU uses to stat that at both those, apparently.
Hey, they got it down. This is, I think there were some good things to take away from Dire that series, or like at least that game. I think they played the first, 20 minutes really well. I just think they should have maybe committed to pressuring a little bit more, and not even necessarily like. Sorry, I just got a spicy message.
Oh boy!
from a player currently in the series. They will be unnamed, but I think this team just like they did the right thing. They just didn't commit hard enough to it. And I think it hindered them because you're kind of in this position where you're not sticking with one thing. You're trying to do a little bit of both, and generally that doesn't work, especially when you're playing against such a hard counter as like the Gyro Medusa matchups. You just kind of lose.
Yeah, this is it's one of those things where they played well, just not well enough, and you can't just play well enough against this team and expect to win games. This is certainly one of the contenders, if not the best team in Lads currently, so they're not going to give you any bit of mercy, and, well, mercy was not shown today.
Did you have them, where'd you have them in the rankings for yours?
Number 1. I had the number 1.
You okay? There you go. Well, this is a good way to just kind of validate yourself a little bit. Be like, yep, this is expected. They're coming to game with the same intentions that they had last season, and it worked out. Maybe this is the one issue I have though. Is this going to work against the better teams? And I don't think a lot of teams like are probably looking at this game and they're taking away a little bit of a couple weaknesses away from the Heck Teddy squad. I can see it right now. Neff is foaming at the mouth to take a game off these guys.
I think a lot of teams are. I mean, after last season, not only had a chance, they did it with a lot of all chatting. A couple of enemies, so I think teams certainly want to knock this team down a peg.
That is just good for the league, man. Good for them. They're the heels. They're performing well. They're like, we're going to talk shit to you guys, and we want you to make us take it back. And so far, nobody has. So, no one deserves to make them not shit talk at this point. So they're allowed to continue until, at least until they get stomped. But, I mean, they look in good form. So we'll see.
We are, of course, waiting on the lobby to once again be created. As far as I know, it's not there. I'm not seeing it in the Browns Dota Lobbies menu. I'm seeing, the entire No Teddy team on the main menu in a party. Therefore, they're not in the lobby as... Well, usually if you're in the lobby, you go from being in the party view to being, say, on main menu. And, well, yeah, they're just there. So, I suppose we are just waiting right now for what hopefully is a spicy and exciting game number 2 in this 2-game exhibition between, not really exhibition, more like, well, I should describe it, sort of, call it a matchup, 2-game matchup between No Teddy and Menaces to Sobriety.
Cello responds to me, Dusa just AFK farm.
Yeah, I mean, it's the bird execution to stop her farming is not on the Dusa, it's on you to stop Dusa farming. Yeah,
that's the thing, man. Like, you don't like it, get out of the game. You have 7 bans or something like that. Like, this is not, like, anywhere out of your control.
It's not enough bans to ban out KU, though. Because say you ban out Dusa, let's pick Terrorblade, you ban out Terrorblade, maybe let's play Gyro. Ban out Gyro, well, suddenly there's Clinks or Sven, the actual meta carries. So it's hard to ban out a player like that.
I think that's the thing, though. Maybe this is just recency bias, but like, I haven't seen much of KU's pool other than Medusa and Terrorblade that I'm like, this guy's like gonna shit on us, like regardless of if we have 4 counters against him, if we have 1 counter against him. So that's the thing. Like, I think you got to force him out of his like element, which I know when you play a lot of the same heroes, I don't know how much this team scrims. Like, you can kind of get in the habit of playing like that, the way that hero likes to play. when maybe it might not necessarily be the case. See, I say that, but like when I think about that, I normally think about like that's how like when I'm playing in like a lower league average, such as like RD2L or MD2L, like you don't want to force a hero to play, like a person to play the same style of hero every game, because like especially with people who are like lower on average MMR, they probably don't have that much time to spam out games, so you're getting really accustomed to, let's say, playing Medusa, where you're kind of AFK until you win the game, and let's say all of a sudden you get forced to pick Ursa, where you have to go an early Diffusal Blade and start running at people pretty early. Like it's a little bit of a culture shock, but I mean, KU is a good enough player where I'm sure he has no problems playing not only any of the meta carries now, but a plethora
either one works.
Either or a plethora of other heroes that aren't even like meta in this pool, but good in certain situations where, like you gotta try something. You can't just let him pick TB Medusa every game and just like expect to win. Like I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, luckily we are very, very close to what is a good old-fashioned game number 2. We are almost there. It's only Arteezy of Pokemon Untie, aka KU, is not in a slot right now.
I was actually watching some of the Pokemon MOBA today. It looks, it looks a lot better than I thought it would, actually. I don't necessarily, it's very simplistic. I don't even think there's gold. There's no experience. Like you get your spells, and like I think by level 4 you're like fully kitted, ready to go. There's like no such thing as items. Yeah. Good for them, man. If they even get like a fraction of the player base that doesn't actually play MOBAs, like maybe Dota still has a chance to like continue on, and maybe not like near future they're probably fine, but long-term future it might be a little rough.
Dota, at least Dota's got a lot of very passionate people working on it. A lot of people who are in the Dota scene that's just truly love this game. It's always good. That's one of the things with Dota is there's less people that are in it in like a corporatized, sanitized way. It's just people that are there to love Dota.
That's like a good thing and a bad thing though, because then you kind of have to breed that love for new players, and like let's say especially like new players that have like aspirations of going professional, and I think that's like the majority of players that you're going to see that like dedicate a lot of time to playing only Dota. Like it's really hard to cultivate that, I think, when it already exists in such like a very passionate fashion. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. I feel like I could probably rephrase that if needed, but
that makes sense. I mean, it's part of the hard part is that Dota's not really necessarily spectator-friendly esport compared to, say, CSGO. I use CSGO as a very obvious example of a game where anybody can just start watching CSGO and probably understand what's going on. 5-on-5, shoot the enemy in the head, plant bomb, defuse bomb. I mean, there's obviously an extraordinarily large amount of tactical and strategic and skill-based complexity beyond that. At its most like base concept, it's not very hard to understand. Like, say, it's hard to understand, say, a perfect 4-man smoke execute into Molly stuff on, say, the A side of Inferno. But it's very easy to understand, hey, dude walks in, shoots guy in the A side of Inferno with an AK-47, it's...
Yeah, I mean, you can probably... It's like one of those things, too, like you were saying, like, it's very visually pleasing. Like, you don't have to know what an A smoke to be like, oh, man, they literally have just, like, completely made this side of the map, like, unusable by the... I guess defending team in this situation. So like you don't have to like explain the complexity of it to kind of like know what it is, where like Dota is a lot based on I guess like you playing it, because there isn't really I remember they used to have like the new player stream for international, and that's great and all, but it's just that's a lot of learning to be doing while you're trying to like kind of watch the game, I guess. It's really hard. I'm not like a learner like that. I can't just like watch it and kind of experience and like translate that to knowledge that I'll retain. It has to be way more interactive. I love the Heck Teddy poster, like their pictures, their logos it's on point.
And it's one of those things that this team season in season out has usually top tier banner game, and this might be their best work. This is their masterpiece.
I love like the canvas on the back looking very like rugged. They're out in the Wild West looking for this man that's a dog with a top hat.
This is perfect. For a reason too. It's always I always love how like it's the public persona around what happened to Teddy. It's Teddy always says he left, but the rest of the teammates insist that he was kicked. So it's always, but now it's for treason. It's like, wait a minute, this is mixed messaging.
So maybe
here.
he did leave, you know.
This is mixed messaging going on. I will though be right back. I'm gonna have some more water. I'll see you in approximately a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Well, it seems that Cello has decided to steal heroes from the other team, banning out the Coddle, which good for him. But it does look like they left the Sven in the pool and actually the Teddy stack to ban out the Omni Knight instead, which is pretty interesting. They're just stealing each other's heroes at this point. What? This is for sure a 5 gyrocopter, though. I can't imagine that they're going to put this at 1 unless like it's an extremely good gyro game, which it shouldn't be with it being picked first. Taking a lot of time with the combo combo pick here, though. It's going to get pretty interesting.
Radiant team pick.
Night Stalker.
Night Stalker. Very cool. This hero's pretty broken, so I can't wait to watch him absolutely dumpster this safe lane at 5 minutes. Sven's pretty good against it, though. It's just, it doesn't trade that well unless you ulti, and you don't really want to be ulting just to trade with a Night Stalker in lane. I wonder if this is Avenge Sven lane. The double stun might be really good. You get a value point in the damage early. This might do a lot of damage. I wonder what percentage of the teams will actually end up going Venge offlane. It seems really strong in that role. Hello, Badger.
That's some very good. Don't do heroes on my screen right now.
Yeah, I was saying I can't wait to watch this Night Stalker just boot Sven out of lane at like 5 minutes in the game. It's going to be pretty fun.
We mentioned how last game one team was picking some cool ass meta heroes, and now both teams are picking some cool ass meta heroes.
Yeah, they went for like the initial starting strategy where they just like steal a hero from the other team, and then they just added meta hero on top of it. So like eventually we're just gonna get 5-on-5 meta picks, which you know it might be fun. Thankfully, Cello banning out the Dusa. He's like, no more of that garbage. Thank you very much.
This is It's almost interesting in that we're almost sort of reversing the roles there. Before it was the Menaces to Sobriety side Gyro, but now it's different. It's the Hex Teddy side Gyro. But despite that, the Gyro's almost switching roles. Before, Gyro was probably not going to win the late game situation, but now Gyro probably will win the late game situation. So it's a lot of a role reversal going on here.
I think Sven is better against Gyrocopter than, let's say, Gyro was against Dusa. Gyrocopter doesn't necessarily like heroes that get up in your face and like hit you for, you know, like 4 hits to kill or something like that. And then Sven scales way faster as well. So he's more online with like a Medusa with how fastly or how quickly he gets his items, whereas Gyro still kind of has that build up. That's why I think that this Gyro is going to be shelved as a 5. They have last pick. I don't see why they wouldn't just give KU last pick unless like every hero in the game gets banned out, which like it just isn't the case.
Yeah, even then, it's always a good old decoy Gyro in that sense. For worst case scenario, you just have your carry ready. It's Gyro's a bad carry hero, so problem solved.
Sven, very bad against the Wyvern hero. Gotta love it. Cannot dispel the cold embrace, unfortunately.
Like there's one very obvious counter to Sven. It simply ensures Sven cannot play Dota, and they're doing their best to do that. They have Gyro, who has a stun and a slow. They have Night Stalker, who has a stun and a slow, pretty much, kind of. I mean, it's not really a stun, but you know what I mean. You have Winter Wyvern with a BK piercing stun and a slow and another slow and a thing that will just keep a hero alive if you go on thanks to Cold Embrace. So they're just making it as difficult as possible for Sven to play Dota, and well, fundamentally, I mean, Radiant will have a lot of farm in their Sven because the hero will 100% cleave. And if you can't play Dota, then, well, your farms, it's like, say, I don't know, like 40% of your money is invested in a hero who can't do anything, and that's going to be hard.
Yeah, the one thing Sven really suffers from is heroes that are able to kite him, and Night Stalker and his ulti easily having unobstructed pathing is going to kite the Sven. The crippling, or his Q, crippling fears the silence, whatever the first one's called.
Void.
Yeah, the Void during the nighttime is like a 5-second slow, and you don't want to be popping your BKB on Sven to kind of deal with like the trivial spells that are casted by a Night Stalker. So I saw this matchup earlier today. Remember, Phoenix counters Night Stalker because when he ultis, it turns it to day, so you can kind of hammer on the Night Stalker a little bit, even in the middle of his ultimate. But the series I was watching it was Tundra versus Fnatic, I think, where Tundra picked it against Fnatic. I don't remember, but it doesn't seem as strong of a counter as it used to be. I think that kind of just goes to the strengths of Night Stalker, where if this Phoenix like misuses his egg at all, that they can just like the Dire team can just disengage with the Night Stalker ulti. They'll just come back when it's over and like still beat him up, which is like kind of an issue. But maybe with Kunkka, X stun ability is going to kind of keep them in range of the egg ulti so that Sven's going to be able to clean up with some kills. But I don't know. The Phoenix hero seems very strange though.
Apparently there's a Captain Crunch advertisement on my stream now.
Nice.
Gotta get that dirty esports money, you know?
The 5 cents. That's going to be great.
Like, I remember actually, I got a check from Twitch, and it was mostly sub money. It was like $1.24 an ad revenue. I'm like, yeah,
Wow.
Let's go. The Captain Crunch ads are added up.
That's pretty impressive, to be honest. That's like nothing to laugh at. $1 in Twitch
$1.24
ad revenue? Yeah, that's crazy.
Dirty esports money. No, it's back to, I don't know why I had to bring that up. I thought it was a funny thing, but we do have some very interesting heroes to hit the egg here. This is a lot of egg hitting heroes where, sure, Night Stalker doesn't have a great time doing that, but Gyro can hit the egg with Flat Cannon, and he's also just hitting everything else. And then Lina, high attack speed, high attack range hero, could be a rough time to use that Phoenix egg ability today.
Yeah. Pick the Lina up again on... Who's their mid? Owen? No, League of Legends.
League of Legends, aka Dambad, aka Taylor Swift. But honestly, I think I might just start getting my casters call him Kobe, because I don't know if it's like his like actual name or his nickname or what, but he goes by Kobe, and that's a pretty easy name to say. So no, I don't do that. He's Kobe now.
Hey, that's pretty fair, honestly. Does not sound bad at all.
It's better than League of Legends, where it's like that's a lot. It's
Yeah.
not only a mouthful syllable wise, but it's also, you know, a competing game. So
Yeah, you don't want to be shutting out League of Legends, especially during a Dota stream. That seems a little
I
sacrilegious.
think I even have that in my caster reel where I mentioned the name League of Legends because he's in one of the plays. So whoops.
You gotta like dub over it. Teddy, or what is it?
Kobe.
Oh, or no, Kobe. See, when you say Kobe, I think of the RD2L art Kobe. So that's why
I think of the Lakers player Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would think of that as well, but you know, I have like the more recent, or like Kobe to a Dota player Kobe rather than Kobe to a NBA player Kobe. You know, it's like the circles where like the Kobe from Dota is closer than the Kobe from the NBA when we're talking about Kobe and Dota. You know.
I guess I'm not that fortunate. I do not know the Kobe from Dota. I only know the Kobe from...
It's probably a good thing, honestly.
I only know the Kobe that ruined my childhood when I was 13 by destroying my team in NBA Finals. That was...
What's your team?
I'm a Celtics fan, and that 2010 Finals is so fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Dear God.
I mean, You know, it's even more heartbreaking that you're a Celtics fan, but you know, we can just skip back to that.
Listen, we're suffering right now. Don't worry. Whatever we do with only a young superstar in Jason Tatum and another young star in Jaylen Brown, and I guess we have a new coach now. It was like Ime Udoka or something. Heard he's pretty good from the Nets. Well, I'll find out about that one, but
well, hopefully they'll never be as good as the GOAT. Obviously, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
You guys got your ring, man. You guys could be
time
happy.
For another one. No. Wisconsin sports have been doing me dirty for like the last 15 years of my life.
Imagine being upset as a Wisconsin sports fan when you live next to Michigan and Minnesota. Both states have infinitely worse sports situations during your lifetime.
Well, that's for the NFL, but like Michigan football was like extremely good up until
in the 90s.
Harbaugh got there. No. Remember, what is it? Kevin Gardner?
Okay, in the last 16 times Ohio State has played Michigan, how many times has Michigan won?
All right, but like, come on, that's Ohio State versus Michigan, dude. Oh my God, that's like Alabama versus any team, except it's just the Alabama of the Big Ten. You know, like that's just not happening. It's not happening.
I think they lost to Troy recently too, and Troy is definitely not the Alabama of the Big Ten.
Well, let's just say Jim Harbaugh's turning that what is that? The school into a mess, which is thereby reflecting poorly on Wisconsin, which is already a bad team.
It was a mess before he got there.
Oh my God. It's a disaster. The Big Ten sucks, dude. Just
full conference.
Yeah, as long as Ohio State stays, like we're gonna be in the clear because at least we have someone representing. But
it's better than the Big 12 at least.
No, God.
Better than the Pac-12 too, actually.
I mean, the Pac-12 still has like Oregon, and they have the cool jerseys. I like jerseys. OD picked up though.
Well, yeah, OD's in our Dota 2 game, which is interesting. Here we haven't seen very often. Seems like a hero that he can. Might be a rough OD game, honestly.
Dude, Night Stalker just gets a blinks on this guy, and like he's not able to press any buttons. I don't get it.
He could blink away, right? If he imprisons under the, he could blink away. So if he imprisons and blinks, but
yeah, but like he can't imprison if he's crippling feared. He'll be crippled by fear.
Yeah, I mean that is true. It will be a perpetual AoE silence in the ground preventing him from playing Dota 2. But
dude, that's like a 6 or 8 second silence to at nighttime. It's just ridiculous.
It is 8 at nighttime. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is you did call it though. They were going to put the gyro as a support. I think you said it was going to be possibly 5. Ended up being 4, but not very important. Honestly, they put it as a support.
This matchup between Sven and Luna is really strange because Sven wins the early game and much of the mid game because he he scales just way faster with his abilities than Luna does because glaives are based off of basically being able to do more damage. And obviously cleaves 100%, so Sven has to do more damage too, but the glaives have damage reduction on them, so it means that she needs even more kind of comparable stats to make sure that sorry, I was just looking at Xeriscape's message in the chat because
he's from Detroit. Dude. He's from Detroit.
I just realized that I messed up on the name of the guy, and I'm like, man, I suck. But yeah, once you get like 1-1 team fight as a Luna against a Sven, like it feels very Luna favored. She's like one of those really strange heroes that like Sven can't necessarily man fight her if she has BKB, Satanic, and she'll definitely be going to Butterfly this game. Like it's a very strange lineup. This is the same situation as the last game, where if Radiant is able to press their advantage early, they might be in a better spot. However, it's no Teddy. Are they gonna do it?
Done.
Yeah, like it's so much. I can sit on my pedestal here and be like, yo guys, just close the map, kill this Luna 1 or 2 times in laning stage, you'll be good to go. And then it's another to watch KU just AFK farm for 20 minutes and then just win the game off of that.
You know, just go kill the best carry in the league and then team fight the best team fighting team in the league. Yes, no problem at all.
I think this their support duo on Dire is a little whack though. Like you have a position for Gyrocopter that seems extremely weak in lane. You need level 3 for Gyro to kind of be a useful support. I mean, you have stun, right? But it just feels like it feels like such a useless hero to be playing for, I guess. Like, I'd rather have like this Wyvern on 4, because at least you can just like spam Splinter Blast and make the carry cry a little bit more, but...
If you are just joining us, welcome to game number 2 of the matchup between No Teddy, who won game 1 on the Radiant, actually on the Dire stat, I probably tagged that on my OBS, and the Menaces Sobriety, who lost game 1, looking to turn it into a 1-1 series.
One of the things I really like, I think, that make Night Stalker nice is that he's kind of like Slark in the early game. Like, he has the extra range to see, so it makes fighting for runes a little bit easier. And then his Void, it's just a great spell at nighttime. And since it's nighttime until the runes start, like, it's pretty good to take early engagements. I would have liked him to see him fight, but
I literally cannot update my OBS. There's too much action happening right now. This is painful. I'm like trying to tab away, but there's just both teams fighting constantly right now. What have I done?
Cello versus Gyrocopter bottom. This is... Cello's just gonna die.
Yeah, it's very little damage required to kill Cello at this point. Rocket Barrage is up again. Well, yeah, first blood is drawn by Malefic. Pop on Cello Mellow already.
That's just... How can Cello just make me say that Gyro 4 is bad and then do that? I'm blaming Cello for that, for the record. He just like thought he could walk through like 4 rocket barrages and call it a day. No, sir. That's disgusting.
Simply did not work in his favor. Now we're seeing Gyro is taking a good bit of damage. But he'll be fine. Now she trades on a Cello Mellow once again. Cello actually has no TP, so he cannot die. It is not an option. But he will not
come
die.
on. Come on, get the salve. Please.
Oh, no, we're seeing Slendy is posturing very aggressively top lane. Then I'll turn on Takeda. They want to get this kill there, perhaps onto the Wyvern, but it's both heroes. Oh, they did not tag up the lobby, did they, with Takeda, did they?
Man. ZZZ.
I'm looking at the names, I'm like, these names are not correct. What's going on here? And it's occurred to me, they did not tag the lobby up, and that's... Apparently nobody noticed, because they had 10 players in the lobby, and the 2 of us were there, and we had like 20-some people in Twitch chat, and nobody noticed! Until now that the game was not ticketed, so whoops.
That's extremely frustrating, because... God. Just... You work on something, Badger, and your work requires just one thing to be done by the lovely people in this community, and then they just don't do it, and it ruins it.
I mean, luckily, I guess you could download the replay. You're gonna have the ability to do that anyways, because you're literally in the lobby.
Yeah, but like, what's the point, man?
I don't know what the point would be then, but it's the options. The options are there, sir.
I did this so I would have less work, and now I have more work.
Since this lads, expect nothing different.
Oh God, what a disappointment.
It's for sample size -1.
Yeah, that's literally what it's gonna be. I'm just gonna let it ride without being able to see that info. This bottom lane's in a really weird state right now, but I'm sure Night Stalker is extremely happy with it. The lane's just under their tower, so he's not going to be pressured at all. Top lane, it's just Luna Wyvern, still an extremely strong combo in the early game. I know Wyvern got debuffed a little bit just on the Cold Embrace, but doesn't necessarily make or break a hero. It just kind of breaks the old playstyle that just like relies on some insane amount of healing.
Bottom lane, it's Cello and Malefic who are fighting. Wind Missile is there, and now Cello is quite low, but in comes Bloom on Sven, looking perhaps to go in. I need to sneeze. Oh god.
Bless you.
Gotta mute my mic.
Man, this Gyro has so much move speed with just a Windlace.
Okay, we're back. That hurt, but we're good. Top lane though, we see a Torrent there onto the Luna, but well, now Luna turns on the 4th Lord Lingus on that Kunkka once again, but nobody is dead quite yet, except for perhaps the Gyro in the bottom lane, but he will also simply walk on with that Windlace.
I don't like this Kunkka hero in the off lane. You have to be able to constantly be using Tidebringer off cooldown to harass the safe laner out, and KU is just playing this great. He's just not letting him get up to the wave.
Seeing bottom lane, Cello and Malefic got into once again another trade. Malefic got to TP away from Cello, which means they actually can perhaps harass that 11-17. Stormbolt is there. They want to go on the Night Stalker, but well, he's actually has 2 bracers, so he's actually fine. Meanwhile, top lane, crushing mid lane. Seeing a 2v2 fight break out there. It is the kill for Kobe on Braid Braze OD. OD goes down there, and now Slendy has to simply run away from the two heroes who were occupying the mid lane.
We're 30 seconds away, Badger. How quickly do you think the Sven is going to go to jungle?
I think
He has one bracer. Ooh. This is spicy. He went some laning items. He might be able to stay for a minute.
I think he gets level 5 and then leaves. That's got to be what he leaves, level 5, right? Like, you get that third point. He's literally saving the skill points. He has 2 CS skill points. We'll get point and cleave, third point and cleave. And
he's doing the old, like, tried and true method where you're not shoving the lane in by not getting points and cleave, but I think that's just kind of out of favor right now. You get it just because it provides passive harass. Now he's deciding to get it because he's like, wait a minute, that's some free damage. But it's too late. This guy's got 2 bracers. It's nighttime. He's going to get beat on if he comes out of position.
Yeah, it is indeed time to perhaps leave lane for Sven. We did mention, we put timings on it. It's now minute 5:30. He's still there, kind of.
30
I mean, not
seconds.
really. He's kind of in the jungle already. He's a bit, he's a little bit one leg in the lane, one leg in the jungle right now. Where does he? Oh, so on this. Oh, never mind. He's going to the small camp. There actually is no small camp. It's blocked. So.
He made the offer too good for this Night Stalker to refuse. He just gave him a full wave of 2 range creeps, and I'm telling him, you know, you can run and try and kill me, but then you're not going to be able to get all of these creeps.
Oh, they're running at Bloom anyways. I mean, the Storm Bolt is there, hits on the bolt, the Holy Missile stun will be there onto the Sven. They once again are going to try for skill. Meanwhile, mid lane, the brawl breaks out back to bottom lane once again. Sven's being run out back to middle lane once again.
Dive him.
They're diving for Slendy. Slendy is low. Now go to Kobe. Imprisonment, Hammer is dropped. Kita is low. They want to get kill there. Kobe will die, and they look for Kada as well. Cold Embrace is there onto the Wyvern. Magic Missile will finish that kill, so 2 kills there. Force out of the Radiant, and they turn the 2v1 Dire Side Aggression into 2 Radiant side kills.
Sick play from Bray there. I'm confused as to how they just kind of let top.
Radiant side jungle, some interesting stuff happening. We see Malefic trying for a solo opportunity there onto the Sven. Actually, he might just get it. Rocket Barrage is there, but Sven is a little bit too fast. Now it shows taking the lion's share of that damage. He's now once again running away from Malefic, and well, yeah, he tried to dive away, but it was a little bit
Cello.
The disappointment in your voice is palpable right now.
He just tried to min-max that too hard. You know, I can see everything because I'm a caster, so it's like just sad, but
in the Radiant jungle, though, it's Bray being run at Milo to dive in the top lane. In the jungle, Bray is flying back to the top lane again. They're looking for Kada. Wyvern will get hit by the Magic Missile and the Torrent, but he will Cold Embrace. X marks brings him back to, well, the exact same spot he's already at. Winter Blast will be there, and Wyvern's out, going to the right towards that tier 1 tower, is out under that tower, once again Radiant are on the dive. Missile once gets from the bench, into the boat from the Kunkka, and that indeed will be the kill. Down goes Kada on the Wyvern, that's another kill in the top lane for the Radiant, and they will parlay that one into that top tier 1 tower.
This Kunkka's gotta get a halberd instead of a armlet, please. You're playing offlane, man. Oh god.
He's committed to heavily Iron Will, so we appear to be in a situation where our man 4-year-old Lingus is indeed going for that Kunkka.
Are the wheels falling off the bus already, Badger? This guy possibly doesn't have faith that his carry will be able to get a game for him, so he thinks he has to carry instead.
Thing is, possibly. I'm not sure if that's the mentality, but maybe it's just simply wants to, hey, maybe he's used to carrying his own games, and it's like, alright, I must buy items to win the Dota game.
See? Pub player mentality, man. Like, this is it. You gotta play for the team. Can't play for yourself. It's like, Halberd's, like, so good against this Night Stalker hero. Like, you just gotta do it.
Interesting stuff happening bottom lane. We saw a bit of spells being thrown up by the Night Stalker and the Phoenix, but in the very end, nobody dies. Thought something might happen, but alas. Oh, never mind, it's Cello, who's actually might just be dead now. Here's a Void once again in 4 on Night Stalker, perhaps that will be the time for the kill. It's now diving with the Ascension, looking for Cello. Magic Missile is there from Slendy though, and now 1117 is running way to the right into the trees there with that Ascension, but once again, in comes 1117, looks for Cello, finds Cello, and well, it was a 1v2, and Night Stalker wins that 1v2 pretty handily. And actually might go for the kill even on Slendy. He's under the tower once again. Void is there, but now Menaces will hit the stun. 1117 under the tower. Now he might just go down. He's quite low. The Embrace is there in time, and Slendy will go into the Laguda Blade of Kobe on that Lina. So that's Now 2 kills for the Dire there, and, well, unfortunate.
You could like see the thinking in his head where he's like starting to run away. He's like, man, this Sunray is hurting a lot. And he's like, wait a minute, I can kill this guy. And he turns around, kills Cello, almost gets the Venge by himself as well. Almost dies. One more TP would have gotten him, but you know.
And top lane, Kunkka made us be in danger. Dire currently are as 2, though it's actually only the Wyvern and the Gyro, so never mind, he's completely fine.
It's kind of interesting looking at the CS charts with Kunkka being on top alongside this Luna. Sven is matching up well with this Lina, and then Night Stalker is matching up with the OD. So you got a little bit of kind of musical chairs with kind of where each carry or like each role is in terms of where their farm is matching up with the other roles.
Maybe killed that bot lane, but I believe the sentry actually spotted the OD. LSA is now there onto the OD, but OD will look perhaps for Kobe on that Lina. 1117 is there, but actually has no ascension. He's now trying to trade up the missiles there from Slendy, who's arrived from the tier 1 tower, and now it's Nightsucker on the run. But with the arrival of the 4 Gyro, Radiant actually decided, you know what? Let's not die quite yet.
Cello's super low again. He has egg though, he can hit like a sick egg and then he might be good to go, but his team's abandoning him again.
It's Dire on the tower died, looking for Slendy well in a tier 1 tower. Supernova is there. It certainly will not die, but well, it also will be to very little effect. Shortwood is there. On 1117 and Malphite. The Cold Embrace is there off by Stalker. The hammer is dropped though by OD. Down goes Night Stalker. Down goes Malphite. They turn to Kada. They want this kill there onto the Wyvern. Can they get it? The answer is probably. And they indeed know where he is. In comes that Arcane Orb from Bray. Triple kill there for the OD, and that is the exact fight that the Menaces Sobriety needed to in this game.
Dude, shout out to Sven for making that rotation, getting a sick double stun to kind of cementing one of the heroes dying under tower, and then OD wrapping around just shit ton of damage with his Arcane Orb. I was gonna say I thought Cello's egg was a little bad there, but it probably was perfect to keep them from actually killing the egg when after they got the kill on Vengeful Spirit.
He didn't have the HP to get a better egg. I mean, obviously a better egg is possible in a vacuum, but in practice, that's probably the best thing he's going to get.
What do you mean? He can like dive in and then use the egg, right?
Yeah, but what if they use Void in the middle of the dive? Then he just gets a one shot.
No, that would never happen.
That would absolutely happen.
No. That would make my analysis wrong, Badger. And as we know, as the analyst, I am never wrong. Analyst, whatever.
Okay. You like hear you say the word analyst?
Was correct? That fake?
No, I'm like, fake? I don't get the laugh very often. I'm not used to laughing. Sorry.
Okay, I felt it.
Seeing a swap there at the Gyro mid lane, he actually made us walk away. So Unrated said, never mind, the Arcane Orb's enough damage. That's sorry, I don't get the laugh very often. So
no, that's fair. I was just like. You don't have to laugh at the joke if it's not funny, Patrick.
I was laughing initially, but then I was like, all right, maybe I need to laugh harder. I don't know. This is I'm more laughing at you than with you, to be honest.
You know, I'm okay with that. It's been my Dota career in one sentence.
Oh, feels incredibly bad, man.
This Kunkka's going for the Armlet Ags build, so similar to what mids normally go.
It is team fight, though. I mean, 1117 has descended. He's running into the river towards the Radiant side of the map. The X mark is there from the Kunkka, bringing him back to the Dire side of the river. But once again, he may look to run him. The imprisonment is there from Bravery, who has that Aether lens. They now turn to Malphite. It's the missile from Venge and the Sunray damage. Dire once again is running. 1117 looks to go on and dewards the ward. It's Malphite who should die here. Gets his dive canceled. The egg is up into a swap from Slendy. And now the imprisonment is there, I believe, was onto the it's indeed after 1117's Night Stalker. He should eventually go down. The Embrace will delay from Kada. Now it's the fourth building is looking for the Wyvern under tower. Night Stalker will go down. The curse is there on the 3, but nobody will die, and so except for the Wyvern. That's 3 kills there for the Radiant, and they are looking strong.
I'm like 90% positive the only reason Cello lived there is because of the new damage reduction on swap from Slendy.
Yeah.
That was like so close.
In the Dire side jungle, Bray is so low, but is still alive. Wait. Now Radiant want this kill. Torrent, LSA, both miss. It's now KU, who's once again stunned. Hammer is dropped by Bray. Down goes Slendy, but down goes KU. They now turn to Kobe. Call down, X Mark, both there. Dodged by Yules. And now, while they're running at the Radiant, Kunkka, Phoenix, OD are all running away to their side of the map. Once again, Holy Missile will come in and will hit onto Bray. Can they kill him? It's LSA, it's Dragon Slate, it's the damage, and indeed they will kill the OD. Massive kill there for Kobe on that Lena.
Man, that was really cool. That was a nice team fight from Radiant there. Catching KU's like super good too.
And they'll find the Kunkka as well. Got a little bit too greedy farming in the dire side. Never mind, he's fine. He's Kunkka.
He's so fine. This guy's gonna press armlet right now. Watch. All right. Wait, what?
Huh.
What? He meant to press armlet there. Instead, he just X'd him.
That one's fascinating.
Scratching your head, you know. I am too. It's okay.
Like,
This Sven's really farmed.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
That's definitely good. It's CSE is still far more farmed than Luna, but not by that much.
The one thing I have found playing against this Night Stalker hero is that his ulti feels very unimpactful when you have the vision to kind of see his movements. So for a river fight like that, it's fine because it's like, you know, even like a river ward is going to catch kind of all of that movement that's occurring there. But like as they kind of move to the fights in the sides of the jungle, they're going to be wanting to have some wards on the high grounds to kind of see where Night Stalker is at all points. Otherwise, the one problem with Phoenix against Night Stalker is that if the Phoenix, she or he just gets crippling feared, like it obviously nullifies that counter. So we're just going to kind of run into an issue with that. Blink reveal too.
There's 11-17 who has blinked in. He's a silence there on the 2. But we'll fly in and we'll hit on the 2.
Nice.
There's going to be a massive team fight combination. Slendy stuns there on the Malefic. The curse is there on the 4, actually, technically, once Cello is back. And well, in comes Splinter Blast. Down goes Slendy. So far, it's a 1-for-1. It's a support for support trade. Radiant, though, once again, want to run on in, but they only have 3. But instead, it's Dire who will run in. Cello tries to dive on in, will now dive away. And well, now it is Night Stalker who is running at the Kunkka. X-Mark is there onto the Night Stalker, but he'll be right back into the Torrents. Now the Embrace is there. Stun is there. The Stormbolt from Bloom. LSA misses. Sunray actually kills 11-17, and now Radiance have claimed 2, including that core Night Stalker, and they may even look for more. They know Wyvern is there, but it kills a little bit too much to ask where it appears.
Sick ward from Slendy there. Sees the entire fight. One of the things I was saying, you just gotta know where the Night Stalker is, so he can't just like run around. That's the word. They did a really nice job with pressing all of their buttons and then just not like overcommitting. They just like waited out the Night Stalker ulti, and then Night Stalker felt pressured to make a play because his ulti was running out, and then he just goes in and dies.
Now in the bottom lane, it may just be Bray in danger. Has imprisonment, uses it onto KU, but there are 4 dire heroes running at him. Hammer is dropped there onto 2, but well, they know Bray is there. In comes 11-17, blinks on into Bray, who was trying to hide in the trees, but well, it did not matter.
That's a whole city death right there. It's like your whole team's away from you. What are you doing over there with no tower, you know?
Sometimes you're just pushing in the lane, you get some creeps, and you just die.
Yeah, that's what Hall says too, and it's still wrong.
Yeah, I'm not, that's true, actually. That is true.
There's too much greed on the map. You gotta kind of recognize when you're all alone, and then when the other team isn't like, if they're not anchoring to kill your 4 heroes that are on that side of the map, they're probably going to be killing you on where you're currently at. So,
seeing some very vigorous oval drawings by Cello right now.
That's what he's doing right now. He's like, man, I'm not on a team with Hall. I don't need to deal with this, guys. We're going to play on the top side of the map here, and they're going to play down here.
Fight may just once again break out middle lane, perhaps. Perhaps not. Interesting sentry placement there with a Radiant. They put 2 in that little spot, and well, both will die. Eventually.
Oh, that wasn't Chell. It was Bray that was circling. What the heck?
It was Bray, okay. Interesting.
Well, what is he even circling for?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Your fight may break out, though. 11-17 has blinked in, now Radiant retreat to the river, but, well, Missile comes on in, hits there onto the Kunkka, and Kunkka is stunned, and they know where he is. They're slowing out the Arctic Burn, they have to wait up once again. We'll attempt to simply bring it down, Kunkka, and it will work. It's now 2 kills for the Dire. Torrent Storm was thrown out, but now, well, it's KU in 11-17 who have found Slendy in the Radiant side jungle. That's now 3 kills for the side of No Teddy.
So this Radiant team just split all across the entire map, just farming. So it's like one of the things that I think I really noticed from teams that haven't really played together. It's just like there's like no team play. It's very pubby. Can they just keep harping on that same thing? It's like everyone's like farming 3 lanes right now, and then you just have 2 heroes going mid and dying. It's like, of course it's gonna happen.
It's fair enough to do this. I mean, Radiant are aware of this, but that's a hard fight to take. Cello actually does the Supernova though. Now, 11-17 has ascended. The curse is there onto Solo. The Aegis will go to KU, and now they want to get Bloom on the Sven. He's now on the run on the half HP. Stormbolt is there onto the Gyre, who will die now north of the Roshan pit. Now 11-17, who tried to fight, actually runs away over the cliff. They dropped the hammer, the good old Sammy's Eclipse. It did not matter. It was not enough damage. 11-17 simply got away. So Dire, they only lose support Gyro. They claim the Aegis, and they will save it for another day.
It's like another example of the Dire team just not like throwing. They get the Aegis. They kind of like, if they expended both the Night Stalker and the Gyro there for an Aegis that they don't lose, I'm sure they're more than happy with that too. Like KU's able to get out really quickly. I think this Sven's item build is, especially in that last fight, showing a deficiency. Like he's just going to get kited by the massive amount of stuns and slow that they have, and he doesn't even have a BKB yet. I think if he just went BKB Blink, he'd be in a way better spot to actually be able to play the game against like the more squishy heroes like Lina and Wyvern, but he just doesn't have it yet, so he's kind of going to be suffering from the kite until then.
Looks like we're once again. This time it's still pretty good for the Radiant. It seems like Dire are getting what they want, but Radiant actually are still farmed on 3 cores. Especially the Sven and the Kunkka. Mid lane, though, it is Kunkka who's in a little bit of danger, perhaps. Lina is nearby. We're seeing a rendezvous from the side. Actually, never mind. They ran away.
I'm just going to say it, man. I don't think this Kunkka build's going to do anything. Slendy did it against us when we played them in finals, or not finals, but playoffs last season, and it's like outside of your Torrent Stone, you're pretty useful.
Quarterfinals, I was there. Good times.
Yeah.
Seeing though, it is Kata who was being gone on, but instead actually throws the 2-man curse on the Bloom and 4th year Lingus. Now in comes both teams. They collapse at the Dire side Tron Camp, and now Call Down comes in, Torrent Storm comes in, Luna is alive next to the Cold Embrace. Supernova is used well. It's barely dead. Cello dead, Malefic dead, but it's importantly massive kills to Radiant. They have killed the Lina and they have popped the Aegis. They once again want to get KU. KU pops BKB, tries to man fight. In comes 11-17 who has ascended. Eclipse is popped. Sven is low. Sven will go down, and Dire start them on when they look for Bray, who is now silenced and will go down. Now Radiant are the ones who are on the run. It's simply 2 alive, and they know the Kunkka is there. They use the Fey Grenade, they will bring the Void, and they will try to bring down the Kunkka here. They have all the tools in the world, and Slendy has swap on cooldown, so eventually 4th year Lingus will go down here on the Kunkka. That's now 4 kills for the Dire. Triple kill for 17 there on that Night Stalker, and well, it looked so good, so briefly, but in the very end, once again, another massive team fight win for No Teddy.
I don't remember if you remember, at least, that I said this at the beginning with the Sven-Luna matchup. Luna just needs 1-1 team fight, and the game instantly shifts over to that side. And that was the team fight that occurred. So we're going to be experiencing a little bit of a hardship from the Radiant side for, I think, the rest of this game.
We saw a lot of parity between those 2 heroes, Sven and Luna, net worth-wise, but now Luna has a 1.4k net worth lead that may just grow a little bit at a time now for the rest of the game, and, well, it's KU. He probably won't ever get it back.
Yeah, he will not.
Not sure what's happening bottom lane. Bray may be in danger. Lucent Beam is there. Arctic Burn is there, but Bray has the imprisonment, and the Axe Leak has 1 more imprisonment. Meanwhile, mid lane, you've seen the swap there onto League of Legends. Kobe now baby in danger on the lane. He will BKB Laguna on the Slendy. Slendy may go down. Back to bottom once again. It's OD trying to fight the 3 heroes from the Dire there. Down goes the OD. Back to middle lane once again. The running at the Lina X-Mark is there. The BKB is on cooldown. Bank is looking to fight. Yules, Torrent Storm are used, but Lina is on the run. Now Stormbolt is there on the Darkcopter in the river. Darkcopter will indeed go down. So overall, cost map is a 2 from now. The Arctic Curse is there onto 2. It's the Kunkka who's the main target. Sunray will heal, but Dire will collapse a 2-man. Ellis, they want to get 4th year Lingus there on the Kunkka. Now, well, in comes 11-17 and KU from the Radiant side jungle. They want to do more. Lucent Beam is there on the 4th year Lingus, and well, that man once again will go down in the team fight. Now 3 kills for the side of the Dire very soon. Eventually. Arm Tuckle's delay, but the inevitable is there, and now, well, yeah, the fight's over.
I'm just altering my position 3 power rankings as we're speaking. This was a good lesson in a couple of things about learning competitive and what your hero's job in the game is. I think I'm watching series of events where we're not seeing a lot of impact coming from some specific roles in the game. I'm not going to name names for sure because that's kind of rude. Start of the season, all of that, but I feel like the wheels are off though. Like they just fed mid, they fed bottom. There doesn't seem to be a consistent game plan. I think moving forward, everyone wants to just farm their next item. I think that happens when generally you miss item or like you itemize poorly and then realize what you really need and have to go back for it and it's already too late. And yeah, they're knocking at the door with a KU double damage room bottled up. It's gonna be looking pretty rough soon. Or I mean, like, not that it isn't already looking pretty rough for them, for the record.
It's looking somewhat rougher the more time goes by. I went into the metaphors. I really was pretty verbose on it last game in terms of what it's like with the Constrictor and the slow loss of control, and what's happening again. It's 11-17, meanwhile, who has ascended, looking for Bray in the top lane. Silence is now there, the LSA is there, but actually they silence on the Slendy so we can't swap away Bray. Imprisonment is there, Slendy has TP away, Slendy will go down, so will Bloom in the middle lane by the river, and it's across the map, 3 kills once again for the Dire. It was the Luna, the Gyro, and the Wyvern who found the stand far in the mid lane as the 2v2 was handily won by the Lina and the Ice Sucker in the top lane.
It's fading across the map, part 2.
Yeah, that is for sure. Simply the reality. It's just the slow cascading of bodies to the grave, and well, KU is the man who is with a smile on his face in that one.
Yeah, the worst part about it is this Sven's not even gonna have his BKB for the supposedly last fight of the game, so it's gonna be really rough.
You can't really sell much for it either. I mean, maybe disassemble mask, sell quarterstaff, that's rough.
Disassemble Echo Saber, sell your Ogre Axe, and then you can buy the recipe.
Oh dear God, that sounds so sad.
It does, doesn't it?
He swapped into the fountain, not sure what he was up to there. We're seeing a 2-man curse. Slendy, the Venge is the targets, and well, Dire get the racks, the full set of racks in middle lane, and will indeed run on away. Well, they're going for the 5-man smoke. Apparently BKB not needed. Dire appear to have not seen the smoke. Question is, what can Radiant find? They're running out from their base towards the river now by the Roshan pit, but, well, Dire, they have split up. Perhaps Malefic will die in the Gyro, but I think you're fine dying there in the Gyro. It's merely a 4 support.
Yeah, Sven has died twice, and he's like, guys, I'm just not doing this smoke play. I need my BKB.
See, they find the Luna. Big kill if they can get it, but she has BKB and she has a spider leg, so okay, the imprisonment is there, but where is the follow-up? They bring in the boat, but they bring in the BKB and the Eclipse from Luna. Wyvern looks to fight, has Curse, but stunned by the Torrent, actually from 4th tier Lingus. Wyvern will go down, and now, well, to swap there onto the OD, but OD still is dead. Slendy tries to do something, but KU's just too strong. Cello goes down to the home missile of Malefic, and right clicks from Melina. 4th tier Lingus goes down to Kunkka. Now it's merely the Sven, who at long last has BKB, but it's a BKB to run away, and well.
Jesus.
Yeah, once again, 11-17 has ascended. It's the Dragon Slave, it's the homing missile, it's just everything. The Atos comes in, the Silence comes in, the LSA once again is there, and down goes Lumon's Sven. It's a full 5-man wipe, and indeed, this game is looking very, very over right now. What
a terribly depressing way to reveal your BKB with 9 seconds on it. It's just the instant turnaround. Press your mask, you press your war cry, and you're still not fast enough to get away.
9 straight seconds of running away into then being kited around and dying. That is...
I cry every time.
Yeah. And we mentioned how in the first game, the 4-man TP'd up KU was the carry dream. That's the carry nightmare. 9 seconds of running away with BKB. We're seeing no home missiles there onto Bray. Chel's trying to do something to Sunray, but well, Bray will go down. 11-17 has dove under the tier 4 towers practically. Chelnova will go down, and well, the X mark onto the Gyro. They bring in the Torrent and the boat, but can they even get the 4 Gyro? Phoenix has brought back. This is the last fight of the Radiant, perhaps. Malphite has one down. Kunkka has BKBs running on in, looking for more. He wants a big kill. X mark? Not even used, never mind. We'll get the gyro. And actually will defend their racks, but now, well, Dire have re-engaged.
Hey, she has Ags. That's actually okay.
Actually is fine, but well, Illusion will
now
also
the Ags
die.
is dead. Team just doesn't want to play the game, man. You just gotta call it, you know?
And it will be 2 sets of racks now for no Teddy. Top racks as well as mid racks that were previously killed. Radiance, well, they're sitting under tier 4 towers. They may try for one more fight. 11-17's simply diving. It looks for Bloom, who has BKB, and once again with BKB. This time may fight. Meanwhile, those Kunkkas being gone on by KU. Bloom's trying to engage onto Kata. Kata actually will go down on that Y for now seeing the imprisonment onto KU's Luna under tier 4s, but Bloom is being kited around by the Lina and the Night Sucker and will go down. KU actually grabs the kill there with that Lucent Beam, and well, imprisonment comes down to the Lina, but in comes the Eclipse of KU. Once again, imprisonment is there, so they keep him in place, but can they deal with him? They drop Sands Eclipse. Once again, KU is just so strong, but actually getting quite low. They X-mark him back into the boat. KU actually goes down as a trade, though, for Cello, but now Kobe on Lina is on the run, swapped back by Sunday, is imprisoned, and should go down here eventually. So at long last is the Radiance. It is a side of Menaces to Sobriety that have done something. They have won a team fight, but it may just be too little, too late.
I would agree with that sentiment. It is a nice little pick-me-up before you call the G's, you know? Yeah, you know, it could turn into something better. It's just like the problem is the Sven's dying, so like he's done scaling this game. So like you're literally relying on OD and Kunkka to kind of be your carry this game. And Kunkka's build is like only good when they don't have BKB, and they all have BKBs. So like you either have to like make the fight last really long, but Dire's also really good when the fights last really long. So it's just like if this OD is able to get like Blink, BKB, Scythe, you know, like they're in it for sure. Honestly, even with BKB, like OD is going to be able to deal a lot of damage in these fights, but it's just so much gold that they just don't have access to on the map anymore.
BKB, who BKB'd?
Sven.
I heard the sound effect in distance. I'm like, who the hell does BKB?
Same. That's rough.
That is not the person you want BKBing. He really needs that duration. Well, it's down out of 6 seconds already somehow.
And now he's dead. Oh, alright, he's not dead because it's just a gyro there, but getting caught with your BKB on CD is definitely not what you want to be happening at any point right now, especially with how badly the game's going.
Possible. I'm not sure how the morale is doing there, but it's certainly a rough series for the last about game and a half now.
Hey man, they're playing it out honestly, which I can respect because you know I've definitely seen teams. I've definitely seen SSD just throw items about. What is it, like a week and a half ago? When did we do Week in the Lads?
That was a week and a half ago, yeah.
Yeah, when they played the whatever stack, and it was just like, alright, like, this game's over. Yeah.
Somebody wanted to play, apparently Sunshine Duck was not one of them.
This is true. He saw the writing on the wall, he made the executive decision for his team, and you know you can respect a captain who believes in his principles.
He didn't really delete much net worth either. He only had like 1.2k net worth, so...
Yeah, that's a good point. So, like, honestly, if anything, he was increasing the gold disparity, so if they got any kills on the other team, it would have been more net worth for his teammates.
That's, as the kids say, a little bit of copium right there.
A little bit.
We are, though, seeing a bit of harassment out from KU, who's just slowly putting Lucent Beams on the ground. We're seeing Home Missile there onto Bray as well, but... I mean, Radiant are just very slowly dying. Dire, at long last, smoke on around the pincer maneuver from the river up into the Radiant side. Try camp, they may pop it on Bloom's Sven, and they indeed will. Magic Missile is there onto the Gyrocopter, but Dire once again wants to run forward, and Radiant are running the hell away. But Cello...
Dude, where's this Kunkka, man?
She will dive. But well, it's Slendy who is in danger. He's imprisoned. The Bray, keeping that from a little bit longer, but... Casey alive? No, he's now once again an illusion, which is once again dead.
They're not winning this game by just like waiting it out. I don't necessarily understand what the game plan is at this point. It's like they're just like delaying the inevitable. Like they're not going for the win. So gotta
maybe they want the refresher on Kunkka. Seeing actually a buyback from Slendy. Perhaps they want to jump the gyro mid lane. but he's fine. Top lane instead is Kunkka, who is caught. There's 4 Dire Heroes in the vicinity, and now there are no longer any Radiant Heroes in the vicinity. 4th year old Lingus on the Kunkka is dead, and actually is dead for 80 seconds. He simply does not have to go for buyback. Seeing OG has found an imprisonment, though, I believe, on the Malathick's Gyro, but Dire, well, are going to look to rendezvous once he's imprisoned there. But now in comes Holy Missile, in comes level 17, who has ascended and has silenced. They broke the OD, they have killed Chelamello, they have brought in Slendy trying to man-fight the Gyro, but he will lose that one. Meanwhile, they focus down Brave Ray, who's actually trying to escape there with the OD imprisonments. But he blinks away there, good blink away by Brave Ray, but once they want to pursue, they blink on him, level 17, under that Dire Tier 3 tower bottom, and well, the inevitable has arrived. The GG is called, and for no Teddy, they open their season with a 2-0 victory.
That is a really cool OD shard. I like that shard a lot. I'm glad we got to see it, I guess, at least before the end.
Yeah, I'll agree. It was certainly... I think the shard was pretty good there. It's certainly a proof of concept, but the problem is, well, it was too little too late.
Yeah, what can you do? I think it was a very convincing start for the Heck Teddy. I think you'd be kind of remiss to have bet against him. I think nobody did at this point, though, so I'm not really surprised. I think Menaces to Sobriety, they looked all right. I think they looked a little bit better than I was expecting them to look, but if the game 2 kind of mindset, at least towards the end, persists, I'm not sure, I guess, if they're going to be able to find much success this season. Unfortunately, you know.
Looks like, though, this is about, as you mentioned, what we expected. Simply a good 2-0 victory. There is, though, as you mentioned, some takeaways from Menaces Sobriety. Looked must get better than you expected. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. They kept it competitive at points in both the games. It's more, can they keep it together in the mid game? Because once again, both games, they really had it together for the first, segment of the game. Where they had the laning phase was fine, early game was fine, but in the mid game, eventually, they just got either too sloppy or simply had a lack of direction. Yeah, so that seems to be their issue.
I think when you kind of put it into perspective, when there are differences between teams in terms of their skill, the wider the difference between the teams, the earlier that difference starts to show. So we can see, 15 minutes in the game, it's pretty even. So you're getting out of the early stage, which is pretty much only mechanical. You kind of need to know how the hero matchups work, but if you're mechanically good, you should be fine in most of the matchups. Once you kind of start breaking out in the mid game, though, where the map movements have to be a lot more concise, especially when you're playing against a team such as the No Teddy team, that's kind of where you're going to see a little bit of the breakdown in maybe the strategy and or the overall team coordination, and that's kind of what we saw from the Menaces to Sobriety stack. But they're a new team, so they can get the cohesion down, but maybe they learned a little bit from playing against a really good team like this early. You're just gonna have to see.
Alright then, before I go into my usual outro, do you have any final analysis for the people?
Man, Lads is back. It's good to see it.
Good
Ticket your games. Ticket your games, everybody.
Yeah, of course. I guess I should ask the formal question. Do you have any final words, call outs, shouts to say to the people?
Thanks for having me, Badger. Appreciate it as always.
And of course, thank you for being on tonight's Sonnegod. I will be rating my main Killer Karate, who is currently casting the other series tonight in your squad, taking on the Copium Crusaders. I'll be rating that one, so you'll be there in a few minutes once I decide to raid that. But thank you for watching tonight. For this 2-0 victory for No Teddy over Danger to Sobriety. My name is Badger. If you enjoyed my casting, I can cast your games or cast your tournaments. If you contact me over on Discord, it's Badger number 5713. Thanks to my man Rex Rampage for the subscription. And as per always, have a great night.